Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today we will be seeing the current affairs for the date of 29th of October. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. And these are the topics for discussion today. The first one is regarding the stubble burning. We will be seeing why farmers resort to stubble burning, the impacts of it, and the government measures with regard to it. Second is the IUCN report which reflects the Western Ghats. Third is about the Chief Information Commissioner. Fourth one is about the onion. And fifth one is the prelims focus, which are the short notes which will be helpful for both prelims as well as mains. We'll get into the discussion. We'll start today's discussion with stubble burning. So this is the sample image of the stubble burning. So we'll see its definition. It is a deliberate setting fire to crop residue, mainly the paddy straw, left in the fields after the harvest. It's common in Punjab, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh, especially after the Kharif harvest and before the Rabi sowing. So this you can use it as an introduction in mains if they ask a question regarding it. So we will see why farmers burn the stubble. The first one is the short window time. So after the paddy harvest, where the farmers have about 2 to 3 weeks time before sowing the seeds for wheat, that is the Rabi crop. So within this 2 to 3 weeks, they need to clear the fields of the residue. So the burning of the stubble is the easiest one, instead of manual picking or using the farm machines. Second one is a cost-effective way. Literally, this stubble burning of the residues very cost-effective. Hardly there is any input required. Whereas the alternatives for like using the machinery or the labor is includes a lot of cost. Third one is the lack of machinery. So there are this machines such as the Pusa decomposer, biodecomposer, then the Happy Seeder machines. These things are first thing little bit not affordable to the farmers. The main one of the reasons is majority of our Indian farmers belong to the small and marginal category. So the affordability is also an issue, and also there is uneven distribution or availability of these machines. There is also another aspect of custom hiring centers. These are the centers from which the farmers can rent these machines. It's a good initiative, but again these are also not evenly distributed. So this is also one of the reasons why farmer burn the stubble. Fourth one is the labor shortage and high cost. The first aspect in this is the labor availability itself. If we link it with the migration pattern, we will have seen that there will be high rural to urban migration in search of employment. So there is first aspect is shortage of labor itself. Second is even among this available labors, the cost is high. So both of them will lead to burning of stubble. As if you go for hiring of labor, it will increase your crop cultivation cost and thereby decrease your profit. Therefore, the farmer resort to stubble burning. So we will see the environmental impacts of the stubble burning. The first one is air pollution. The burning of stubble will release the pollutants such as the PM 2.5, PM 10, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxides, etc. These are the air pollutants, and these stubble burning is one of the major contributor for the pollution in Delhi during the winter months. Now, which we are seeing in Delhi. Next aspect is the soil degradation. The subtle stubble burning will also destroy the beneficial soil microbes, and including earthworms. This will also result in less natural carbon available in the soil. Thereby, this will result in the future the farmer will compensate it with increased use of artificial fertilizer. This will in turn degrade the soil. Third one is the climate impact. So the stubble burning will release the greenhouse gases such as the carbon dioxide, methane, etc. These are the greenhouse gases, and this will accelerate the global warming. The other aspect is the health hazards. The pollutants contribute to various health hazards, health issues such as respiratory illness, including asthma. There is also skin irritations, eye irritations issues among the individuals, and especially the children and the elderly population are worst affected because of it. Having seen the impacts, now we'll see about the government measures with regard to it. The first one is regarding the registration and monitoring. So we have this Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, which prohibits open burning of crop residues. Second, we have the National Green Tribunal, which imposes penalty for violations. Third, we have the Commission for Air Quality Management. It enforces and coordinates in the national capital region and the states adjoining it. Second is the technological solutions. We have this happy seeded machines. We have this PUSA biodecomposers. These are the examples of it. Third is the incentives and subsidies. The government gives incentives to the farmer to so as to purchasing the machines for crop residue management. Next one is the awareness and alternatives. So there are various awareness programs for farmers so as to know what the impacts of stubble burning and how to shift or alternatives for stubble burning. So we also have the alternatives, like we can use the stubble as a raw material for biogas plant, bio CNG plants. So these are the ways in which the government has taken measures in with regard to the stubble managing the stubble burning. So we'll see a UPSC prelims question. It's a PYQ of 2019 with regard to stubble burning. The question is, consider the following: carbon monoxide, methane, ozone, and sulfur dioxide. Which of the above are released into atmosphere due to the burning of crop or biomass residues? The answer is all the four. So with regard to stubble burning, you can get such questions in prelims. Also, you can get questions in mains also. So in mains, they might ask about what are the reasons for stubble burning, what are the possible measures that can be taken in for addressing this stubble burning, and also what are the impacts of stubble burning. And with regard to measures also, they can ask the evaluation of the measures which have been taken so far. So these are the possible ways in which the questions can be formed in mains with regard to stubble burning. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we will see the IUCN report which reflects the Western Ghats. So the IUCN's World Heritage Outlook report lists India's Western Ghats, Manas National Park, and Sundarbans National Park as sites of significant concern. The report assesses the conservation outlook of over 200 national mixed world heritage sites globally. We'll see the key findings. So there are four sites are classified into four categories, such as good, good with some concerns, significant concern, and critical. The overall trend which has been observed is the percentage of sites with positive conservation outlook fell from 63% in 2014 to 2020 to 57% in 2025. This is an important pointer which you can quote it in mains, or you can even use it as an introduction in mains answers. So we'll see the major threats in South Asia which are as per the mentioned in the report. First one is the climate change. So it will change in the temperature, and erratic rainfall will lead to species migration and habitat loss or even fragmentation. Tourism, or in particular the unregulated tourism, result in over accumulation of pollution, will lead to increased human man conflict. Invasive alien species, so this is an important term. As far as prelims is concerned, you need to know the definition of it and examples of it. Also, when you are talking about invasive alien species, you need to know about the endemic species. So their definition is very important. So these alien species outcompete with the endemic ones and alters the local ecosystem. They also have high demand for the resources. The examples include the eucalyptus, water hyacinth, etc. Fourth one is the infrastructure. Construction of infrastructure such as roads, railways, bridges, hotels will lead to deforestation. These also leads to habitat fragmentation and also increases the human animal conflict. The other threats include the forest fire, which includes both natural and as well as man-made, hunting and waste disposal, illegal logging, and encroachment. So we'll see the status of Indian sites. Under the good category, we have the Kanchenjunga National Park in Sikkim. Under the good with some concern category, we have the Great Himalayan National Park, Kaziranga National Park, Keolada National Park, Nanda Devi National Park, and Valley of Flowers. Under the significant concern, which we have seen before, it includes the Western Ghats, Manas National Park, and Sundarbans National Park. So when you are reading the national parks, especially for prelims perspective, you need to know their location, the geographical features about the region, which includes also the rivers passing by, and also about the key species which are found in it. So these are the certain aspects which you need to know from prelims point of view when you are looking at the national parks. So why the Western Ghats are red flagged? First one is the hydropower projects. So the construction of hydropower project will itself result in will lead to deforestation, and there is also submergence of areas because of it. Second is the tourism. As you seen in the previous slide, it will lead to more human wildlife conflicts. Unregulated tourism also increases the waste generation and also increases the pollution of air, water, soil, etc. The plantation crops, when they replace the native ones, this also reduces the uh, soil fertility. There are issues with regard to soil fertility when the plantation crops are grown. The fourth one is the climate change, which pushes the species to higher altitudes. Fifth one, as we've seen, is the invasive species, which including eucalyptus and acacia, altering the native ecosystems. So these are the reasons why the Western Ghats have been red flagged. So why the Sundarbans have been red flagged, or the key threats which the Sundarbans is facing. First one is a salinity and heavy metal contamination, which drastically affects the mangrove ecosystem. So one of the key feature of Sundarbans is the mangrove ecosystem, and this salinity and the increased heavy metal severely affects the mangrove ecosystem. Second is the unsustainable resource extraction, which includes the overfishing, then greater collection of wood, etc. This also leads to deforestation, habitat loss, and also loss of species. Third aspect is the sea level rise and storm surges, which reduces the mangrove cover and also negatively affects the biodiversity. This affects both the human as well as animal, including the Royal Bengal tigers, which are naturally found in the Sundarbans. So, having seen this, there is one positive aspect which mentioned over some sites. For example, 7 in China are ranked as best protected. The natural world heritage sites cover less than 1% of Earth, but host about 20% of global species richness. So that is why they are very important. And this report aligns with the goals of Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, urging stronger conservation action. So this framework is very important. It's linked with the COP15 of the UN Convention of Biological Diversity. It has about 4 goals to be achieved by 2050 and about 23 targets to be achieved by 2030. This is an important framework. Please read about it. It can be asked in both prelims as well as mains. So we'll see a mains practice question with regard to it. The question is, the World Heritage Outlook 4 report by the IUCN has red flagged India's Western Ghats and the Sundarbans as sites of significant concern. Examine the major ecological threats in this region and discuss the policy measure required to balance biodiversity conservation with development needs in these fragile ecosystems. So 15 marks and 250 words. So this question you can even attempt without knowing about this report. So in a way it is generic. So there are two parts of the question. First one is you have to mention the major ecological threats, and next we have to mention the policy measures. So you can, if you know about this report, you can talk about this report, a short intro about the report itself as an introduction, or you can give us any small introduction regarding the threats faced by uh, environmental threats, etc. Then you can directly jump into the main demand, that is the major ecological threats. So as we discussed in the previous slide, you can talk about unregulated tourism. When you talk about infrastructure projects such as roads, railways, building up of dams, then you can talk about invasive aliens, introduction of invasive alien species, and this rapid spread. These are the threats which major ecological examples of major ecological threats, and the measures which can be taken. You can mention about stronger environment impact assessment. You can talk about greater local community participation. You can also include social audits. You can also include mention about channeling the CSR activities with regard to these conservation measures. Next, you can conclude in a optimistic way. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we'll be seeing about the Chief Information Commissioner. It's in news because the center has informed the court that it will be appointing a new CIC in 2 to 3 weeks time because that office is vacant. So we will see about the overview of the Chief Information Commission heads Commissioner heads the Central Information Commission established under the Right to Information Act of 2005. So the Commission ensures transparency and accountability in the working of public authorities by enforcing the RTI Act. So this RTI Act is very important, and it's also 20 years of RTI Act. So it's 2025. So another aspect which is important in regard to it is the amendment of 2019. So RTI Act was amended in 2019. So please check about it. And also there is a second ARC report on RTI. Do check about it, especially the public administration optional students. And for general studies, you don't need to read the ARC in detail, but just check the summary of recommendations of it. The Central Information Commission, it's not a constitution body, but rather it's a statutory body created under the RTI Act of 2005. It's very, very important. This can be asked directly in prelims as a statement. They can confuse you. You might get confused whether it's a statutory body or a constitution body. And its jurisdiction is covers central government public authorities. For state governments, there is a State Information Commission. So this is also an important statement. Can be directly asked as a statements in prelims. So it includes the Chief Information Commissioner and up to 10 Information Commissioners. That is a CIC. So we'll see about the appointment process. The CIC is appointed by the President of India. This is also important, and based on the recommendations of a committee comprising of the Prime Minister, who is also the chairperson, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and the Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. So two things to know. First is you don't have a judge of a High Court or a Supreme Court as a member in this committee. Second thing, it's a Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. So in prelims, they can confuse you with including the name by stating a statement that Home Affairs Minister is a part of this committee and all. So be careful by reading the statements. So these are also important points which can be asked directly in statements in prelims. So we'll see about the eligibility. So the persons appointed should be persons of eminence in public life. So which also include experience in law, in administration, governance, etc. And also they should not be a member of parliament or a member of legislature of a state or a union territory, or should not hold any other office of profit. So when you hear the term office of profit, you should know that it's not defined in the constitution, or connected with any political party, or carrying on any business, or pursuing any profession. So these are the eligibility criteria. So the tenure is 3 years or the age of 65 years, or till they attend the age of 65. One important thing to notice is previously the tenure was 5 years. After the 2019 amendment, it is now 3 years. So we'll see a prelims practice question regard to it. The question is, with reference to the Chief Information Commissioner of India, consider the following statements. Here they are asking the incorrect statements. The first statement is CIC is a constitutional authority. Now this is incorrect. This is a statutory one. The CIC is appointed by the President on a recommendation of a committee headed by the Prime Minister. Yes, this is correct. The tenure of CIC is 5 years or until reaching 65 years of age. This is incorrect. Previously it was 5 years. After the 2019 amendment, the center has notified that it should be 3 years. So they are the incorrect statements. So the answer will be option C, 1 and 3 only. So with prelims, you can get a certain direct questions similar to it. In mains, you can expect questions on the effectiveness of how functioning of CIC, how effective they are, and also about the RTI Act in a particular, like how RTI Act is effective in good governance, for example. So you or critically analyze the provisions of RTI. They can ask like how it will helpful in tackling the issue of corruption. In these ways, you can get questions in mains with regard to RTI Act. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we will be seeing about onion. So it's in news because onion farmers across Maharashtra have launched an indefinite protest demanding urgent relief from the state government following widespread crop damage caused by unseasonal rain. In previous month also, the onion was in news because the prices of it reduced drastically, and there was also similar protest by farmers in Maharashtra. So it's an important one. So first we will see about the onion. Its scientific name is Allium cepa, and it's majorly grown as a rabi crop in India, but it's also grown as in Kharif and late Kharif seasons. So when you talking about Rabi, Kharif and all, you need to know the differences between Rabi, Kharif and Zaid season. What type of majorly what kind of crops are grown in these seasons, and the duration for it. That is which months account for Rabi or Kharif or Zaid. Next is it requires a cool season for growth and dry weather for maturity. And leading producer is Maharashtra, and there are other states including Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh. Another important fact is India is the second largest producer after China. So these are the key facts from which you can get a direct prelims question with regard to onion as a crop. So we will see its importance. It's a key vegetable and a spice crop in India. It has high domestic demand, and the price volatility directly affects the inflation. It's also included in the WPI and CPI baskets. So when you read about WPI and CPI, you need to know about who releases these in the indexes and the weightage or basket weightage and all. Next is a part of Essential Commodities Act. So this act essentially was enacted so as to ensure that certain commodities are available to the consumer at fair price. By this act, the central and the state governments have the power to regulate the production, the sale, the distribution, trade and commodities of certain trade and commerce of certain commodities. Then you have also price stabilization fund. It's used to procure onions to regulate market prices. It was set up to regulate the price volatility of the commodities. Then the buffer stocking is done by the National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, that is NAFED, and the National Cooperative Consumer Federation of India, NCCF. So when you see about these two, you need to know about what kind of organization it is and under which ministry it comes and its function. For example, NAFED comes under the Ministry of Agriculture, where NCCF comes under Ministry of Consumer Affairs. So you can also get prelims question directly with regard to these two organizations. Now we will see Operation Greens. It's a very important one when you read about onion. So it was launched on the lines of Operation Flood, that is with regard to milk, to address the price volatility of perishable commodities like the potato, tomato, onion, that is tomato, onion, potato. It will promote farmer producing organizations, agricultural logistics, processing facilities and professional management, and it's allocated 500 crores. So it was launched during the budget of 2018 and 19. So the Ministry of Food Processing Industries has been implementing a central sector scheme, Operation Greens, under the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana since 2018-19. Important statement. So we need to know, in mains you can be asked about Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. In prelims you can be asked which ministry has been implementing the Operation Greens. And it has twofold strategies. First is the price stabilization measure, that is a short term. It includes two aspects. First is creating of storage facilities and transportation of onions where there has been excess production and there has been fall of prices to these storage facilities, so that when in need the buffer stock can be used where the demand has risen in the future. Another strategy is a long term, which includes the integrated value chain development. This is a long term measure which includes capacity building of farmer producer organizations, giving them good quality inputs of seeds, promoting farm mechanization, reducing post harvest losses, giving them creating primary storage facilities. Then you have it also include the agriculture logistics and also include the marketing facilities. So this is a long term measure. So the scope of Operation Greens, that is a long term intervention schemes, has been expanded from 3 crops, that is the top, to 22 perishable crops. This is also important pointer, can be asked in prelims. So we will see a prelims practice question in regard to this. The question is, consider the following statements regarding to the onion crop in India. So onion is grown mainly as a rabi crop. Yes, this is correct. Maharashtra is the largest producer of onions in India. Yes, this is also correct. Onions require short day conditions for bulb formation. This is incorrect. They require the long day conditions. That is, they require long daylight time for bulb formation. So don't jump into marking 2 statements are correct. They are asked how many above the statements are incorrect. Don't make this blunder in prelims. So the answer will be option A, one statement only. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. Now we will see the topics under the prelims focus. The first one is the capacity building national workshop for teachers. It's organized by the CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research, and its theme is communication and dissemination of Indian knowledge systems. It's an initiative under the SVASTIK. So we will see about the SVASTIK in the upcoming slide. And its aim is to communicate scientifically validated traditional knowledge to society. So we will see about the SVASTIK. It stands for Scientifically Validated Societal Traditional Knowledge. It's launched by the CSIR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research. And its aim is to preserve and perpetuate the practice of the appropriate tradition, instill the scientific temperament of verifying traditional scientifically, and boost public faith in our traditional knowledge and practices. So it includes working with various research organizations, higher education institutions, experts and NGOs to document and to disseminate content on scientifically validated Indian traditional knowledge. So next topic is regarding knowledge exchange mission to Philippines. So the Union Minister of State for the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship leads the knowledge exchange mission to Philippines. So it's facilitated by the World Bank. So delegates include from the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and representatives from the states of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Telangana. And its aim is to foster knowledge exchange and sharing best practices in areas related to skill development, labor mobility and data-driven policy frameworks. So next is regarding the PM Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan, that is PM JANMAN. So the Ministry of Women and Child Development gets award for outstanding contribution to implementation of PM JANMAN. So this scheme has been launched by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and is implemented during the financial year of 2023 to 24 to 2025 to 2026. So its aim is to improve the socio-economic status of particularly vulnerable tribal groups. This statement is important, can be asked directly in prelims. By bridging the gaps in health, education and livelihoods and by saturating the particularly vulnerable tribal group communities and families with basic facilities and services, it provides 11 critical interventions to 9 line ministries or departments, focusing on ensuring access to Pakka houses, safe drinking water, road and mobile connectivity, electricity and vocational education for individual households and habitations. So next is regarding the cyclone Montha. So it is a serious weather event developing in the Bay of Bengal likely to affect India's east coast with strong winds, heavy rain and storm surge. So the term Montha was coined by Thailand and is a part of naming list used in the North Indian Ocean region, which roughly means fragrant flower or beautiful flower in Thai. So with regard to cyclone, especially in geography, we need to know about how it is formed and certain aspects of it. For example, the importance of Coriolis force. So with this, you can also link it with why cyclones are absent in equator. And this is also important. If I'm not wrong, it was asked in mains, maybe around 8 to 10 years back in mains, like how cyclones are named. So naming practice in the North Indian Ocean region, storms are named once they reach a defined intensity when they are upgraded to a cyclonic storm by the IMD. Though there is also a contribution of name list by the member countries of the World Meteorological Organization under the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific on tropical cyclones. The practice of naming helps in communication, record keeping and raising public awareness. So one simple reason you can say that if there is a cyclone, there is a common name given to it, every country can access it instead of each country giving a different name to it. So it will be helpful in communication and other related activities. So we will see a prelims practice question regard to these topics. The question is, with reference to the PM Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan, consider the following statements. The first statement is, the scheme aims to improve the socio-economic conditions of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Yes, this is correct. It is implemented by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in coordination with multiple central ministries. Yes, this is also correct. The third statement is, the mission provides for 11 critical interventions to 9 line ministry departments during the period 23 to 2026. Yes, this is also correct. So they asked which are the following options are correct. So the answer will be option D, all are correct. So that's it for this topic. So that's it for today's discussion. If you find this video helpful, please like and give your valuable feedback, and do subscribe to our channel. Have a great day ahead.